Hey, welcome to another episode of the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John, and today's episode is actually brought to you by Joya Scrubs. Joya Scrubs is a scrub company we recently started wearing and working with. And if you're looking to save 15% on your order, feel free to check out the comment section description of this particular podcast, and you'll find that information for that link. Of course, joining me today is our other co-host, Amanda.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. We look forward to discussing this topic today and continue to navigate the world of dental assisting.
Yeah, so what do we got in store today, Amanda? We've been kicking around a lot of topics. What seems to be the hot topic in today's dental assisting world?
So, of course, right, social media is huge, right? We're in this era of time that things are just openly discussed. I feel there's a lot of these topics that have been a hot topic for years prior to social media. Of course, we all know that social media has just brought to light this open conversation in a positive, but unfortunately in a negative side of things, right?
Oh yeah.
As you as you all know that are listening, John and I own a dental assisting school. So outside of our casual conversation or bringing awareness as such as in our podcast, that we create a lot of educational content for the world to see and our students, so they're provided with as much thorough explanation as possible to help their success in the career path of dental assisting. So if you're also listening and you think you need some help on some of those videos, you can check out our YouTube page and you'll see those YouTube videos such as charting, how to set up for a procedure. I recently did one on an XCP review. So putting that XCP device together in order to take an x-ray. And there was actually another dental assistant guru, we'll call her, that she did one as well, which is fantastic. So there's enough dental assistants in the world and knowledge for us to all share. And all of us have like a little quirk or an explanation that is going to help one person, and then someone else explanation can help the other. So, with that said, unfortunately, we like to call these people behind the keyboard warriors, right? And people just can't scroll by and hit the heart or hit the thumbs up without something negative to say. And I think that we just need to get back to, kindness is key, spread the world of what do you want in the world peace, or kindness, is, the way to someone's heart. All these things of just literally being kind and definitely being respectful. I think that we're just seeing more and more about just smart, not in a good way, smart comments of degrading comments and very disrespecting comments that are just uncalled for, not only just in the dental assistant world, but just in the world of respect and professionalism in general. So that's what we're going to talk about today. It's definitely an issue.
I
And
mean,
we just need,
it's a huge issue because it's, you know, we are we're educators. Amanda and I have over 50 years together in dental assisting experience, and we we pride ourselves on sharing that information, and we're rule followers. So, when we put content together, we're very thoughtful of the content that we're putting out there, based on the rules and regulations that exist with state dental boards and ADS. Like, we research a lot before we even put a video together. So when someone comes at us and starts like commenting on things, it's a lot of times it's out of pure ignorance. Honestly, it's I don't want to ever say that an on-the-job trained assistant knows less than a educated assistant. Um, but a lot of times the comments are coming from someone that was taught by a dentist, therefore they think that that's the gospel. It's
correct, right.
just recently. we were talking about a post came up about biohazard and sharps containers, and it's kind of like, oh, well, we throw our used carpioles into trash, and so now you get a big list of things that happen. So I just simply commented, it's state dependent. Make sure you look up your state laws. And one particular dental assistant went on about how, well, our office protocol is X. Well, I don't care what your office protocol is. That's not how it works. The state makes the rules. And she went on about how her dentist is I can't even say it without laughing. Her dentist is not just a dental assistant. He's a very intelligent person, and she trusts his word. And one thing that we have learned is dentists are intelligent. Yes, they are intelligent. They went to school for 8 years. They are doctors. This person pointed out to me as well that they were a doctor, which
Yeah, because I think she was like, my dentist is the doctor, so I'm going to believe his intelligence over someone who's just a dental assistant.
correct. Yeah. And
That's a big old I mean, oh my gosh, it gets my blood boiling just thinking about it.
yeah, and I'm at the point in my life where it's like if you just want to say I'm just a dental assistant, I mean, if you feel better sleeping at your, but this is coming from another dental assistant, which ultimately leads us back to what the whole point of today's podcast is. But yeah, long story short, it was hey, this person's a dentist, they know what they're doing. And as we know, as Amanda and I have learned, is dentists do not know all the rules and regulations for their practice, for the state, um, even for training assistants. A lot of them say, hey, I can train a dental assistant. And then when they call us asking questions or advice, and we simply defer to Danby, they don't even know what Danby is. So, if how can you properly train people if you don't even know what the rules and regulations are for your state? Because you don't even know that the overall governing body of dental assistants even exists, right?
And
So,
I know we say this out loud, and people are like, there's no way, right? There's no way that you hear that. There's no way that you get those questions, or there's no way, yes, yes, way. There is. I recently, I work in an office as a temp, honestly, about once a month, and a dental assistant needed to get their x-ray certification here in PA, which is the DNB certification for RHS. That's our state requirement. He was a seasoned dentist of about 30 years and was like, what do you mean there's an exam by Danby? And who is this Danby? A 30-year veteran dentist, a dentist. So yes, it is. We've gotten calls as instructors and owners of the school of, hey, I hired a dental assistant and they're saying that they're not allowed to perform this task. You're right. She or he is correct. They are not legally allowed to perform X, let's just say a sealant, as a dental assistant in Pennsylvania, because according to Danby and the regulations set by the State Board of Dentistry of Pennsylvania, that is an F to duty, not a dental assistant duty. So it's we're in our program and in our podcast and in our conversation of social media in general. I really think that our goal is always bringing awareness, right? And bringing awareness about what the rules and regulations are. And then even that the rules and regulations exist and exist not only for the safety of the employee, as you, the dental assistant, but also exists for the safety of the patient. And as you really start to talk to patients when you're a dental assistant, when you have those conversations, the layman's public is very unaware that dental assistants can be on the job trained, and the person is assisting the doctor today during the procedure of having an extraction done or an implant placed, it was working at PNC Bank yesterday. So, you know,
right.
uh, bringing on this awareness of, that there's policies in place for protection of both the employee and the patient, and that you just need to be aware of those. And like John already said, nobody, doesn't matter what your office policy is. I commend you for following those office policies, but unfortunately, the office policy isn't stop following the state regulation, and that's what's important. If your office does not care to follow the state regulation, then in the end, that's going to be on them. But good luck when you get a state inspection because you're going to fail terribly.
Yeah, I think, going back to what you initially said about XCPs, right? And it's like, what could possibly somebody say that's negative on an XCP video? And we're talking about simple respect. We're trying to uplift the dental assistant community. Okay, this is like mom and dad time. We're trying to uplift a whole community. Dental assistants as a whole, you go into these groups, it's always the same gripe. We do too much work, we're not paid enough, we don't get respect, there's no benefits. Oh, this is such a terrible career, my back hurts, worst decision ever. We're trying to help with the change of these things, right?
100%.
By people going on and constantly bragging about them doing everything that's against the rules and regulations. Oh, I freehand all my x-rays. Well, you should follow Alera. Well, I can't help it. You don't know what you're doing with taking an x-ray. You need a tool to take an x-ray. These are things that just you see on social media, like back and forth. It is not helping the professionalism. And when Amanda said, just keep scrolling. Okay, you don't use an XCP. It's kind of like, whenever you ask, do you, you know, here's a good example. So like if you make I have pugs, right? Everybody knows I have pugs. I'm like, you make a post, hey, I'm having a hard time cleaning out these wrinkles. Does anybody have any advice? And you'll have someone come on there and be like, I have cats. Who cares? Nobody cares if you have cats. Like you just want to like say it. So it's like if it doesn't pertain to you, don't even comment on it.
Yes.
It's like if
Yeah.
we're doing a video to help today's youth understand these XCPs, just because you worked in an office where the dentist felt that they didn't want to pay, you're not getting a medal because you made it your entire career and took x-rays free-handed. Like there's no at the end you're gonna get called up on stage and you're gonna get this little statue of a dental assistant. Like nobody cares. It's like just keep scrolling. I don't go and comment on somebody's video about them giving tips and tricks about freehanding. It's and honestly I'm to the point where it's like when I see blatant things, which is in every video, it's like cross contamination, people wearing Crocs in dentistry. It's like I'm just over the point where it's like you want to wear Crocs, and this is gonna be the last time I talk about Crocs. Okay, write
I've
this
heard that
down.
before.
Write this down. No, no, no. This is officially the last time because somebody brought up a good point to me the other day. 10/17, this will be the last time I bring up Crocs outside of like talking to our students. Someone brought up if you get injured at work wearing Crocs, you drop something, you wear Crocs. Basically, you're not going to get workman's comp. Like OSHA is immediately going to find out that you were not wearing the proper gear to protect yourself. So, you want to think you first of all, A, you don't look cool. All right, I'm gonna be that guy. Like, you don't look cool with all your gibbets, like putting your gibbets in your holes. Like, nobody cares. All right, if you're, I've officially started a petition. If you're over the age of 8, you should not be wearing Crocs. All right. Like my son's 14 and we buy Crocs every year, and I just shake my head. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm still buying these stupid things.
My kids are wearing Crocs too.
But to be a professional and go into an office and it's like and as we know most of the time it is these offices, especially specialty offices, because the dentists don't know the rules and regulations and they're hiring the whole ortho team is trained on the job. So you know it's like when you watch these videos and people are like always pointing out mistakes, it's like I used to be a person who pointed out mistakes for safety of you and educating you. And it's like people just want to come back and be like, well, our office protocol. At the end of the day, you have to check your state rules and regulations and what's going on with your dental department in your state, which no state I'm aware of says you're allowed to wear Crocs. Now I feel like this is becoming a Croc podcast. I don't want, I don't want, I
That's
want to,
okay.
I don't want.
Well,
I
we're
want.
still. John, I've known you long enough to know that this croc topic is hot on the train in the sense of rules and regulations.
It's just,
John feels better now that he got that off his chest.
yeah. Listen, it's not a personal attack. It's, is Amanda and I always talk about. We're to the point where it's like, we feel like our students or our children, and it's like, I just want people to be safe. Like, I want you to come to work. I want you to be safe. I don't want, as we know, if you get injured in dentistry, it's like a runaround because some offices don't even have a needle stick protocol. Some of the phone calls we get are the most like ridiculous phone calls, people crying. And it's like, why are they calling John and Amanda? Like, why are they not calling like some authority figure? And it's like we get looped into these things. So unfortunately, they're pouring out onto a podcast, which now people are like, why is John giving me a hard time about my Crocs? So, but
Even though they're like, I'm taking a 50-50 chance. 50% of my holes are filled with dental gibbets and Harry Potter and Steelers and, a bag of French fries.
yeah,
But yeah, it's still, um,
yeah,
it's
but to get back on track here, it's we need mutual respect to come back. Plain and simple. We are trying to establish standards and like build each other up. And when you're purposely out there breaking the rules and regulations, posting them on social media, you know, um, yeah, like, okay, here's another one. It's a girl's restocking a room on social media and she's doing everything barehanded, cotton rolls, gauze, saliva ejectors. And people are like, you really should be wearing gloves. And then it comes, well, you know that washed hands are cleaner than gloves. Here's the thing. Every ADS class we've attended, we bring this up. And when I bring it up, it's like they should be wearing gloves. Now, it's not on the website, it's not in the classes because at this point we think it's common sense.
right.
I
Yeah.
guarantee, I guarantee you're not stalking and touching instruments in front of your patients barehanded. I guarantee it. If you think you're so right, I challenge you to do something in front of your patient barehanded and let me know how that works out. You know?
You have to think about, yet again, it's going into someone else's mouth, obviously, to bacteria, what can be, this whole plethora of possibilities, of course. But there was a girl yesterday or 2 days ago, social media, she was timing herself on how fast she could take an FMX, and then the video was speed was increased. How fast the video was going was
Is this the girl
increased.
that wasn't wearing a mask the whole time?
You know what? I don't know because I can't think of that, but I can definitely picture her. She held the XCP the whole time. She put the
Oh,
XCP in the mouth. She held it. She had the Nomad.
oh,
She
okay.
moved it,
No,
held
no,
it.
no, this wasn't. I saw one. The girl was bragging about staying on the same side as the of. She stood on the left side of the patient for the whole FMX, but
Oh
she didn't have
gosh,
a mask on the whole video.
I can't even get started on that. We'll have to do a podcast about it.
Yeah. So, going
I
back,
I
yeah.
I immediately saw the error of her holding the XCP during the full mile series. But I also saw in the comments as I quickly glanced about how many people brought it to her attention about how she shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is respecting each other.
Was there anybody defending her though? There's
You
always
know, I
the
didn't go that deep
you
into
stop.
it.
Good.
I
Yeah.
I didn't go that deep into it. I have, we have our life in the sense to continue on
But
here.
that's a prime
Yes.
example of you have those everybody should be one-sided on this. Everybody
Yes.
should not be self-inflicting harm. You will have those people who are like radiation so minimal, give this person a break. Once again, you're not getting a trophy for taking an FMX in 3 minutes. It's not
And
happening.
the fact of no matter if it's respect or keeping ourselves safe, uh, you know, I'm also a product of, working for an employee that was very disrespectful for years and, holding my ground on what I felt was appropriate in the scenario of multitude of things that happened. Um, And the thing of it is, you have to go back to, we all have different opinions. We all have different beliefs, which we live in the United States of where we are from. And, we have that opinion of, yes, you're allowed to do, in the end, you can absolutely do whatever you want in the sense. But respecting someone else's opinion and respecting that someone else is trying to bring awareness by what the rules and regulations are and the rules and regulations and policies that are in place are to protect you as the employee and to protect you as a patient. Because let's be honest, we're on both sides of the spectrum, right? Um, so, and I know that our goal as being instructors and, all our different facets of dentistry of what we're in is really trying to change that conversation and changing this whole negative cloud that is around this role of being a career dental assistant, and just how, I know that, I think our career as a dental assistant is a great career path. I'm very well aware that there's a lot of negative opinions out there and feel that it's a terrible path. Okay. I don't understand why, if you feel that it's a terrible path and you've been in this career path for 20 years, why you've stayed here. That doesn't make any sense to me personally. Yet again, my respectful opinion, right?
Yeah.
It's, why, if I don't feel you should, if you're miserable being a public school teacher, don't stay in the career path. For goodness sakes, there's one life to live. Uh, and on the other side of that is that, you know, let's yet again give the example, and we've had this, right? We do a 13-week dental assistant program, and we've had students come back and go, oh, during my externship this week, I was placing a sealant.
I was taking x-rays.
I'm sorry, what? You should not be placing sealants in the state of Pennsylvania unless you're a dentist, hygienist, or an EFTA. And well, my doctor told me to do it. Okay, well, you knew it was wrong. And if you do it once and then you do it 5 times and you do it 10 times, two things happen. I can promise you now your doctor expects you to do it, even now that you know that it's wrong and you brought up the attention that it's wrong. And the fact of that you're also part of the problem. Put it blatantly. You're part of the issue that dental assistants continue to get taken advantage of, and you're overworked and you're underpaid when, yet again, just respectfully stand up for what you know is correct. And not only bringing it to the doctor's or your office manager's attention verbally, but there's this miraculous thing called the internet that we all live on every single day. Print out your regulations from your Danby website, or go to your state board of dentistry and find the information that this is a not allowable duty in the state. And this is printer paper, whether it's pink paper and purple ink, black and white, whatever you want to call it. That this isn't something that you are making up, or John and Amanda are making up. This is a regulation and set in place for the safety. And in the end, that you have to watch out for yourself. That it's like that saying of, you die at your cubicle and your position is posted the next day. It's a job, it's a career. Not saying that there's not, relationships out there that are professional relationships that are cordial and on a great platform between you and your doctor. But in the end, it's still a business that has to be ran, and you're going to be easily replaceable. Not easily, I guess. We see these, not that dental assistants and hygienists are coming out of the woodwork for these positions, but respect of just what you talk about on social media, remembering that everybody has, the awareness of saying what your opinion is, and respect that that can go both ways, whether you agree or disagree. But coming back to, just looking at those regulations, making sure you know that they exist and where you can find them, and that a dental assistant can know just as much as a dentist. I'll just put it out there,
Well, according to Dan,
especially after 30 years.
yeah, according to Danby, there are about 375,000 dental assistants in the United States, which that number seems excessively high to me, but they did it based on how many numbers of practices there are and then averages of assistants to dentists. So when you think of 375,000 of us running around, but this all comes back to now we're on social media and you have three and four different opinions on if something's right or wrong. There's a lot of uh, ignorance and uneducation in our field. And that's what we're trying to change. This isn't us acting like we're on high horses. This is us trying to get everyone on the same page. Like everybody wants all these things. And of course, then they badmouth the field, but they're not doing anything to change it. They're just immediately throwing their opinion out there. My office does this, my office does that, without even knowing if it's even allowed. It's I posted a picture of the sharps container filled with cement, and everybody's like, "What's that?" And it's like, unfortunately, some of these states allow you to fill up a sharps container after it's full, mix Quikrete, throw it in there, and then throw it in a dumpster. Like there are a lot of problems. And unfortunately, these are the people who are in charge of the state that like these rules and regulations come from, which typically are dentists, which are the intelligent people making these decisions, but they're also making decisions that are conflicting because they're making them based on trying to save money. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you have people and even the assistants are brainwashed into, well, it costs a lot to ship out a red bag, so if we can throw some carpioles in the trash, if I hold it up and I don't see any blood, I should be allowed to throw that carpiole into the trash. That's
Here's also a reminder. If you say that to yourself, you should probably watch the saliva is red video,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because even, I mean, microscopically, there could be blood in that carpiole that obviously you would never see. So let's just play the game of you put that carpiole in a trash can and the carpiole breaks. So now you don't have a carpiole of glass, you have a carpiole of broken glass. So you put your hand into the garbage can and gloves, or God forbid, no gloves, which we've seen, to, because you don't want to reuse you're insisting on reusing the same garbage bag for the week, right? So you got to dump it into another bag.
yeah, and I mean, not
So
not to mention, we see it for whatever reason, it's an all-time high with people losing stuff. So now it's like office managers are like, make the assistant dig through the trash. That'll teach them. So now you're going through that trash that you were trying to help the office save money, and you've thrown this stuff into the trash, you know?
yeah, it's you have to protect yourself from transmittable disease, bloodborne pathogens, of course, as we know, and protect yourself from that radiation, which is why I always recommend using an XCP. Back to the XCP video. Can you take a great can you take a great X-ray without the XCP? Sure. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But the XCP is going to prevent you from holding the device, holding the ring. That's not the whole purpose, but that's a huge purpose of it. And then, you're bringing over your handheld and you not overexposing your hand to your 30-year career of being a dental assistant. So long term, you have to think about those long-term effects. Now, of course, we're not doctors of diagnosing a cancerous disease if that's the case, but
I'm just a dental assistant.
according to John's post yesterday, he's just a dental assistant. Oh, we know how that is. But uh, dentists are also trained in dental school to be dentists. It's something that we would forget about, or sometimes, yet again, maybe we're not aware of, right? A dentist goes to dental school, undergrad, 4 years, whatever major they choose, which is typically not business, which is actually, now that I say that out loud, that would be a fantastic idea. Um, then they go to 4 years of dental school. They're in dental school to learn dentistry. They are not in dental school to learn policies, regulations, or how to run a business. That's not taught. So when a dental assistant is also saying, I, do this, this, and this, and this, and my dentist comes in just to perform the dentistry, yep, that's what they're trained to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
A hygienist is a trained hygienist to do hygiene. and the skills of a hygienist. Yep, that's what they're trained to do. They're not trained on checking insurance policies and pre-authorizing insurance and I don't know, checking lab cases to put, it's just there's a role and there's a description of those roles for reasons, which is we know why, there's like kind of like this hiccup of just expecting everybody else to do everybody else's position. But uh it all comes down to respect. And respect is out of not even just being a dental assistant, but just in those social media aspects that we're all watching every single day of funny videos or non-funny videos and serious videos that we're all, it's like treating that stranger with, it being kind to that stranger because you don't know what someone else is going through kind of behind closed doors. I think this is just that reminder that we need to be reminded about being kind, not being a keyboard warrior, meaning do not type it if you would have no intention on saying it to somebody's face. Are there some people out there that thrive on that disrespect to someone's face? Absolutely. I can tell you that John and Amanda are neither of those people. And you know, that just be kind, be nice, be respectful, watch your words. I one of those things that I completely disagree with is that comment of sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. And actually, I completely disagree with that statement. I think it's completely the opposite. I think your sticks and stones can break bones and they can heal, but I think your words is something that cannot be taken back. And believe me, I have eaten my words in my life multiple times. So, I'm by no means perfect in that aspect by any means, but I think that that statement is a huge wrong that for whatever reason our society has used for years because your words can hurt way worse than what the sticks and stones could.
Yeah, going back to just show some respect. Remember, we're trying to educate dental assistants who either are in the field, maybe they're not exposed to certain things, or they're just not, they're new, they're coming into the field. There's no reason for you to be 10, 20, 30 years in and telling people they don't know what they're doing because they're using certain things. It's like, when I think of if I went into an office and there's no XCPs and I asked for XCP and the dentist says, well, you know, you don't need that. Well, you use an Apex locator. You don't need that either. Like you use it to make things easier. So, it's like, oh, those are a waste. We just freehand x-rays. It's like at the end of the day, we're trying to make our jobs easier and we're also trying to do what's right for the patient. So, Apex locator, XCP, there's so many things that there's been advancements in technology. Unfortunately, when people talk about these protocols and things in their offices, you know, some of these offices were purchased and have never been updated, sometimes two and three times now. So the protocols, the regulations, the equipment, these are things that have never been updated. And unfortunately, people's attitudes have never been updated as well. There's no kind of training happening. And of course, in dentistry, this is where we get the cross training, the office, the front desk, the assistant, like everybody's doing everything because we come from a business that was a small business that ran that way for so many years and it's just outgrown it, plain and simple. It is outgrown it. So, the negative attitude of dental assistants, we need to somehow get on the same page. The estimated 375,000, we are so strong in numbers, but we are so weak because we're a bunch of individuals you know?
Yes. So, stand together and, you know, continue to learn those new things, but then you have to change those offices and those directions of those things that are changing in a good direction. It doesn't mean the old way doesn't work, like hand filing during a root canal. Uh, but the rotary handpiece is sure helpful in preventing, you know, I just personally had carpal tunnel surgery. I saw yet again in my post about me being laid up with uh, an ace bandage. Someone was like, the day I have to get that surgery is the day I quit the profession. Okay.
Thanks for the tip.
You can get carpal tunnel on many different avenues of career paths, not just being a dental assistant. So there's that.
Well, we thank everyone for joining us today. That was a little longer than a normal episode, but of course, we just wanted to, talk about what's going on, and of course, if there is something going on that you see that you feel like a topic you'd love for to discuss, maybe you'd like to come on and join us. Feel free to contact us. You can always email us at cornerstonedainstructors@gmail.com. Amanda, you have any last parting words of wisdom?
I just, as I always say, stand tall, stand out, and just remember to continue to open up your mind to new knowledge and new changes. Uh, to attend that CE course, read that magazine that your doctor throws in the garbage, whatever it is. But there's a lot of great things that are happening in the dentistry. Uh, it is a great career path. It is a 9 to 5, weekends, holidays off. So take advantage of it. Uh, be respectful, be kind, and I look forward to you listening to our next episode of the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. So thank you also for listening.
Yeah, so of course, we always appreciate the support. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course, Spotify, the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. And of course, you can search our school, the Cornerstone Dental Assistant Academy. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we look forward to catching you on the next episode of the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast.